Welcome back to the channel. Today I'm joined by a special guest, Cody. He's also from Australia. His Finnish wife, he's been living in Finland here for about 5 years now. Both of his two young kids were born here. So yeah, we're just going to do something different, a little bit of an interview style video today. So I want to get Cody's experiences and just his thoughts in general because he's been here for so long and he's got a family. So cool, let's jump into it. Can you start by telling us what brought you and your wife to Finland and how long you've been living here?
Yeah, so me and my wife, we fell in love back in Australia, and the main reason for coming to Finland was that I just wanted to keep our relationship going. So it's like a pretty standard story that you might sort of hear.
Yeah.
And I first visited around Christmas time, and then really liked the place, and I just naturally felt like I could come back again.
Yeah, awesome.
And then so then I did, and then I stayed.
Yeah, cool. That's definitely the theme when you speak to most Australians here. It's a woman or a male that that brings them to this country. Cool. So, what were your first impressions of Finland, both personally and professionally, when you arrived?
Yeah, like when I first got here, personally, it was like a brand new experience. I've never experienced anything like, because for the first time we're here, we're in Europe. Yeah, and then everything works different here. But also, it was really, for me, like personally, just meeting my wife's family and like getting to see the sights, everything's so different. And I guess professionally, I came over here with the job ready to go.
Yep.
Luckily, so through
Very lucky, yeah.
my wife's family, like she had a contact, and that contact could put me in a job at the shop. So I was working with selling strawberries, and I started learning the Finnish language quite quickly.
Oh, awesome, man.
Yeah.
Cool. What was your experience like transitioning to life in Finland with your wife and later starting a family here?
Yeah, I guess like we did everything as a couple, and it's so different for me, like than my usual life in Australia. So I guess like some of it was a bit of a like shell shock because it's so different. It's like colder. Like the climate is like a massive factor.
Yeah.
Like, do you feel like in the summer you feel a bit more sort of like comfortable with the heat?
Yeah, absolutely.
So I had that sort of thing, like a lot of that shell shock.
Yeah. Oh, cool. Can you share a bit about your career and what kinds of work you've been doing? You've touched on that while you've been living in Finland. So yeah, just more about your career.
Yeah. So I've been lucky enough to have a few jobs here. Because I'm still learning. Mä puhun vähän suomi. I'm still learning to speak the language, and the language is such a heavy thing when getting a job in Finland.
Yeah.
And when I first got here, I was the Mansikiniers, selling the strawberries in the shops. Then after that, I was working for a design business called Design Reform, and they've done all across Finland, you see those bus signs. They've done like some really cool design work. And through those guys, I did a website for Helsinki University for the physics department. So I was able to do some impactful work here, which I was really proud of. And then I've done a bit of the construction work that you helped me get into a bit. And I really learned to use a lot of different tools and that, and since being able to do that, I've been able to maintain my own apartment and that sort of thing. I did some work at McDonald's, which I always sort of wanted to work there for a bit, so I wasn't angry about that. And you make more friends working there and that sort of thing. That was during my studies. So my studies, I started to look more into a logistics career. And in the past, I've been a designer, and I wanted to try something else, and sales, and I want to try something else. So I studied logistics, and I've also worked at an ice cream factory on a fixed contract.
Okay.
So
cool.
Ice cream, a lot of food related stuff.
Yeah, awesome, man. Cool. So were there any challenges you faced professionally or personally while adjusting to life here in Finland?
Like yeah, I mean, it's a big challenge. Like, if you're born in Australia, you come from a small town in Australia, and then, you know, moving to Brisbane from Emu Park was a big shock for me when I was a kid.
Yep.
But then this, like, coming from Brisbane to Helsinki has been like a, you know, big change. And, you know, the people are different, but the people are, like, amazing and kind and welcoming and helpful. And but I guess, like, sometimes there's different, like, life situations where you can express yourself differently here. And in Australia there's a bit more sort of loose ability to communicate.
Yep.
Yeah, so I guess in a formal work setting there might be something that's expected differently or something like that, but for the most part it's like pretty common sense. But people are different in the two countries, but we've got our pros and our cons. And
Okay. Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. So we'll just touch on raising a young family here in Finland, which is something you're very familiar with. So what's it been like raising two young kids in Finland? And have you found a good place for young families?
Yeah. So it is a great place for young families. Like, I've got two kids, and you know, they're the best things ever. And from the birth, and you know, the birth went seamless. The appointments to check up on the kids have been great, and they document everything, and they even show you, like, the average curve of, like, certain things, like your child's head size and things like that. And you start to sort of see that, okay, like, they're being very well taken care of. And then you got daycare, which is free here, and it's not free in Australia. So I can't speak too much on having to pay for daycare, but yeah, like, here daycare has been free, and you don't have to pack lunches or anything like that. It's all there, and I got very happy kids, and they, you know, they love going to daycare, and they love being here, and I love seeing them, you know, have fun in the snow and living a whole different life than I had when I was a kid.
Yeah, awesome. Are there any unique aspects of Finnish culture or tradition that your families embrace, especially for the kids?
There's, like, just, like, food and like Christmas comes to mind when you talk tradition. Yeah. So, like, you know, we love the foods. You got the latikos at Christmas. I don't even know what they're called. But, you know, you get the different latikos. And then obviously, here's one for any Australians watching, is, like, Christmas is celebrated on the 24th here in Finland. And in Australia, that's like, nah, it's not Christmas yet. It's not Christmas yet, mate. But here, it's Christmas on the 24th. So you get 2 Christmas days. So keep the presents coming.
I definitely feel that another big one for myself, especially with my daughter Felicity, is, like, the Easter and the Halloween. Like, here, when they celebrate Easter, the kids dress up in, like, you know, witches or whatever, and do their, you know, trick or treat thing that in my mind is such an Americanized holiday, where this, you know, in Australia we do that dressing up and trick or treat stuff in Halloween, but here they do it for Easter. So yeah, I feel like that's definitely
we've embraced that. We do the sticks with the feathers, and we go around.
Yeah, cool. Do you think that's a tradition you're going to try and keep alive when you go back?
I'd love to. I think it's going to be, like, very confusing for the neighborhood street. But I'm the type of guy that likes to sort of explain what I'm doing, and like, the older I get, the less I care about opinions of others, especially if I'm, like, you know, it's something that, like, it's part of our family now. So it's not like we're going to try and hide these things. Like, people should be open to learning new things, and definitely. I'm proud of, like, me living in Finland, and I think I really love some of the new traditions and all that as well.
So. Yeah, awesome, man. Did you and your wife find it easy to build a community, whether with locals or fellow expats?
Yeah, so, like, shout out to my wife. So Jasmine, she's like, she's a big planner, but she's also very good at arranging like meetups, and we were able to find some Aussies here that we're friends with. We actually hung out with them yesterday. Like, my original opinion was, like, I'm in Finland. Like, why am I only gonna try and, like, make Aussie friends over in Finland? Like, I moved to Finland. And I've had Finnish friends since I moved here. Some people's opinion is Finnish people will stay friends with the friends they've had from a young age, but that hasn't been the case with me. I was able to make Finnish friends like as soon as I got here.
Yep.
Going back to what we were talking about, so Jasmine, so Jasmine was able to arrange those groups. We've been able to have groups with the kids that were born in the same month, and groups with like fellow Aussie families, and that's been like really nice to be able to share our experience and relate.
Yep.
Yeah, so we've got both Finnish and Aussie friends here, and yeah, it's been cool.
Yeah, awesome. But at any point you didn't find it was hard, or you sort of felt like you were stuck with building those connections with expats, as opposed to, you know, approaching the Finnish community or trying to break into that circle? Did you find that was hard, or?
I put it all like back to my wife, organizing that, like that went like flawlessly.
Yep.
If I was to be the one to be doing it, like, and there's been some things here where I've really had to try, like you got to be resourceful here, because if you don't have all those common connections you had, like friendships from when you were a kid and all that, you know, life sort of just goes along and you follow what everyone else is doing. And, But if you're coming here fresh and you don't have any friends here, you don't have any connections, you definitely need to be resourceful. You should definitely try and join some groups. If you're getting bad vibes and all that, don't keep going into it, but you should at least be trying to find and build relationships, like friendships and common connections, because it only helps.
Yeah, absolutely, 100% agree. Have your kids started to pick up Finnish? And how did you think that's influenced their early development?
Yeah, so like my daughter mainly speaks Finnish, and it's really cute. And my son, he was speaking both English and Finnish.
Yeah.
And his like Finnish development had come along a bit more, like as he went along. I can't remember the age specific, but it was later on a bit. I've been speaking with him every single day since he was born, and so he's here in Finland, but he's got an Aussie accent.
Yeah.
And like when he speaks to his grandparents, I noticed that he really learns a lot more words. So whether it's his Finnish uki or his Australian poppy, like whatever he's speaking with his grandparents, like he learns really fast through them. So
they're like sponges, man.
Yeah.
All right. So what's one thing about raising a family in Finland that you think Australia could learn from?
Well, there's probably a lot of things like that will come up in the moment when you're doing it, and I'm sure you could agree. Like there's a lot of like independence with the children here.
Yes.
There's like kids walking to school at 4 years old.
Things
like that. So, and I've talked to other foreigners, and they've seen like little kids like walking to school, and they'll be like, "Should we call the police?" to let them know this kid is lost. But the kid's not lost, the kid's just walking to school.
Yep.
So there's that would have to go back to like society in general, like that there's not too much bad stuff going on, and that's a big praise to the country. That there's that much level of safety. So I guess Australia could learn from that, because I would like to see that sort of like that freedom again that we sort of had when we were kids. I feel like it's tightened up a bit.
100%. Especially, you know, I remember as a kid being told, you know, sort of come back inside when the street lights come on. You know, that sort of stuff. This day and age, especially in Australia, you couldn't fathom that, you know, kids doing that sort of stuff.
So I'd love to see Australia a bit more sort of like safe, and we look out for each other like we used to, maybe. Maybe it's not changed as much as I think, but I would like to see that we're looking after each other.
Cool. So we'll move on to the next segment, which is we'll talk about your career and decisions to move back to Australia. So what has your career been like in Finland? We'll just focus on the logistics degree that you got here in Finland, and we'll discuss what challenges there were in finding work in that field.
So interesting, because I'm coming into a new field. So previously I've been a designer and I know that field very well, but like logistics is a new area for me. But what I have found is like Finland is a small country at the end of the day. A lot of roles do require Finnish language, and I have like pretty good basic Finnish, but I'm still learning all the time. What I'm finding is that to get into the type of career job that I would like, it's been more difficult because there's only a certain number of positions available in in an office.
Yeah.
And in logistics, it's like slow moving. People stay in there for like 5 to 30 years. So you're waiting a long period of time to get into one of these office type career jobs.
Yeah.
I've been alternatively like looking at warehouse related jobs and things like that. And then even still, I'm finding that some of these warehouses don't have as many people as I would have expected. And there might just be a couple dudes running the warehouse. Or I did have one role where I was in charge of the warehouse, and it was just me doing the warehouse related tasks. And that was for a smaller sort of business. But
Yep.
I'm grateful for that role because that really helped me understand how to do that role.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's also about, you know, making the best out of what you're doing.
Yep.
And I really did enjoy that role. I loved that I was taken care of, and I learned how to use, you know, Finnish software, and I was printing reports, and I was really maintaining the warehouse and that sort of thing. So I took just whatever you're doing, like if you're in Finland, you're Aussie, and you feel like it's a bit tough, you know, really try and earn your spot, get into a position, and then take ownership of the role and show why you could actually do the role. And
Yeah.
just like, yeah, just put in a good effort.
Yeah,
That's all you can do, right?
Yeah, especially since here in Finland, like, you know, like you mentioned, warehouse jobs where there's not that many people around, you know, if they see that you're putting in, giving 110%, then they're more inclined to keep you around.
Yeah.
Oh, you're more likely to advance.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, cool.
Attitude is massive. Fish out of water, you know, you gotta be that fish that learns how to walk outside of the pool.
Hey guys, hope you're enjoying the interview. I had to cut it here because it's taken a little bit longer than I thought. So I'll do this in 2 parts. So we're gonna end the first part here, and I'll see you next time for part 2 of the interview. Awesome. All right, thanks for sticking around. Remember to like, subscribe, and comment, and we'll see you in the next video.